Millions of our people continue to live in poverty. Government must continue to provide the social relief of distress grant of 350. 350 yena. This year we will implement the framework for professionalizing the public service. We want to professionalize the public service so that we are able to serve our people at the highest level. And when our civil servants serve our people, they must not do so with arrogance. They must not do so almost like they are doing our people a favor. They must not allow our people to stand in long queues for hours and hours. That is why we say we want people who are real professionals, who know what they are doing. We will leave no room for criminals. We will not allow criminals to run havoc in our country. We will not allow them space. We are now going to take them on, head to head, toe to toe. If you are criminals, we are coming after you, because we cannot allow South Africa to be a lawless country.
Have just celebrated their 111th birthday as a political party in South Africa. Wow, that number sounds very big number. Yes, 111 years is not a joke. Imagine if it was given to a human being. I believe this person is supposed to be considered as the wisest man or woman among his community. And everyone would come to him or her seeking for advice, whether it is a couple married, whether it is the youth, whether it is anyone who's having some challenge about life. They will definitely go to this kind of person. Why? Because they know that this person is old enough to know quite a lot of things about life. Secondly, they know that this person can have a good advice to give because they have some experience about life. Now here we're talking about a political party which has been existing for 111 years. That is quite a lot. We're talking about the same ANC of Olive Tambo. We're talking about the same ANC of Nelson Mandela, the same ANC of Thabo Mbeki, Jacob Zuma. Today we're talking the same ANC of President Cyril Ramaphosa, who had also to give a very interesting keynote in this ANC 111 birthday in the Free State, Bloemfontein, where some of the ANC members were gathered, and we noticed quite few things which I'm going to discuss with you in this video. So guys, the President of the Republic had delivered a very strong keynote. In his speech, he spoke about a lot of things. Remember, we're talking about a child or somebody who have just totalized 111 years. So there were quite a lot of things that the president did spoke about. But we don't have all the time to sit here and discuss all this. Instead, what I'm going to do with you in this video, I'm going to play you some of the highlights, key points which I took from the President Cyril Ramaphosa speech. Then I'm gonna come back, try to give you my analytics point by point on what the president was trying to say in his message. So we'll try to analyze this speech and try to look where the ANC is coming, what the ANC have done, and what stage is the ANC, and what the ANC can be able to offer to the people of South Africa. So guys, I'm inviting you to watch this video until the end so that you don't miss anything, as I'll be playing you what the president have said. Guys, you know, it is very important to know that people of South Africa, they need a leadership. People of South Africa, they have done their part to support a certain political party, which is the ANC, during the time of apartheid. And we did not have much political party back then. So ANC, whether you like it or not, it is a political party which has a history. It fought during the revolution time. And today, as we're speaking, they are no longer fighting like the time of apartheid, but they are now who are leading the government. So, which means that now they're having a big responsibility to fulfill all the promises that they have given to the people of South Africa, isn't it? Well, I don't want to waste much of your time. I want you just to get to listen to what President Cyril Ramaphosa have said, as I promise you. Then I'll come back for more analytics, because it will not be fair for me to play you, for me to give my opinions or my analytics without you first get to listen to what the president have said. Let's watch this video, then I'll see you after then for more analytics.
Millions of our people continue to live in poverty, which has been worsened by the impact of COVID-19 and the rising cost of living. We therefore will continue improving social protection for the poor, including through, amongst other things, social grants, free basic water and electricity, and subsidized housing. Social grants should be protected from inflationary pressures and should be expanded to provide basic incomes as fiscal space allows. Until a permanent basic income support is in place, government must continue to provide the social relief of distress grant of 350. 350 ena la e le nyane ke ne ke jwetsa batho ba botshabelo maloba ke re la e le nyane empa e fihla go batho ba 11 million naheng ena ya haeso. Ha o sheba batho ba fumanang thuso ho mmuso wa rona, re fihlela lenane le 29 million. Ha o sheba hore South Africa mona re batho ba fihlang ho 60 million kapo 61 million. Almost 50% ya setjhaba sena sa haeso ho na le tsela e mmuso e thusang setjhaba sena. Ntwena a e etsahale ka tsebo ya ka dibakeng tse ding Afrika mona. Ke South Africa fela e kgonang ho thusa batho ba bangata hakana setjhabeng sena. A re shapele mmuso wa rona matsoho ka hobane ka nnete e etsa mohlolo. Ntwena a e etsahale ditjhabeng tse ngata. On our fourth priority, to improve the delivery of basic service, the collapse, as I was saying, of many municipalities has had a devastating impact on our citizens. Many communities have to deal on a daily basis with many problems. Sewage in the streets, rubbish not collected, poor infrastructure, lack of maintenance. The conference therefore resolved to embark on a more concerted initiative to strengthen government departments, municipalities, and our state-owned enterprises to ensure that they deliver on their mandate. This year we will implement the framework for professionalizing the public service. Re batla hore sifuna ukuthi kuqashwe abantu abakwazi ukwenza imisebenzi. Hayi iphukuphuku abantu abangawazi umsebenzi. Re batla bao bana le ntsebo. Loko hi kuma vanhu lava nga tirhela South Africa hi lava ku ri hi tiva ku ri hi kume vanhu lava ta tirhako swinene. Ri songosoko hira vathu na vathu vane va si dive mishumo, vane va si ve na vudivo. Ri toda vathu vane va do shumela lushaka nga ndila yo fanelaho. Ive vathu vo gudaho, ive vathu vane va diva mishumo yavo. That's why we say we want to professionalize the public service so that we are able to serve our people at the highest level. And when our civil servants serve our people, they must not do so with arrogance. They must not do so almost like they are doing our people a favor. They must not allow our people to stand in long queues for hours and hours. That is why we say we want people who are real professionals, who know what they are doing. We will use the district development model to plan and to execute all this. The provision of basic services such as water and sanitation will receive great priority. And indeed, we are already seeing great movement when it comes, yes, to water and sanitation. And we are also seeing movement in the provision of housing. We are also going to come up with new ways of delivering houses, new ways of also providing subsidies to our people. One of those ways will be provide sites that are serviced so that our people can build their own houses. Because many people say we want to build our own houses. So do not delay by wanting to build houses for us. Allow us, free us to build our own houses, but give us service sites so that we can go ahead and do so. We will build partnerships with the private sector on infrastructure finance. Our fifth priority is to strengthen the fight against crime and corruption and to make sure that indeed our country is secure and stable so that our communities are safe. The ANC will therefore take steps to further strengthen the law enforcement agencies and improve citizen involvement in the urgent work of restoring peace and stability. And we call on our people to partner with the police to create safer and more secure communities through effective and well-resourced community policing forums and community patrollers. Where community policing forum works, we find that the levels of crime go down. Where the community is involved in yes patrolling, in yes being the eyes and the ears of the law enforcement agencies, we find that crime does go down. We therefore need all of our people to participate. Law enforcement agencies and other criminal justice institutions that were weakened by state capture and corruption are now being rebuilt. We are going to take steps to increase the number of police personnel in line with international norms. Selemong sena se fitileng, re ile ra hira maponesa a 10,000. Jeka ne ke buile ka sona parlamenteng. Ba hirilwe, They are well trained and they've now been brought into the police service against the criminals. And we are now also going to see how best we increase the number of our police. The ANC directs government to adopt and implement a national plan of action to deal with crimes such as kidnapping, human trafficking, drug trafficking, gangsterism, illegal mining, extortion of construction sites, and vandalization of public infrastructure. In fact, the Minister of Police and myself have clearly directed the Commissioner of Police to set up units, specialized units, that are going to be focusing on these areas. And those units are being set up, and the specialization is beginning to bear really good fruit, and we want that to continue. We will leave no room for criminals. We will not allow criminals to run havoc in our country. We will not allow them space. We are now going to take them on, head to head, toe to toe. If you are criminals, we are coming after you, because we cannot allow South Africa to be a lawless country. Ke khale re bona ditsotsi di ntse di matha hohle hohle ba senya, nako eo e fedile, e tlile ya fela, re tla le kenya tseleng kapo re tla le kenya tronkong. We must intensify the struggle to end violence against women and children. This means that we must fully implement the National Strategic Plan. We will continue our work to focus to prevent gender-based violence through various programs that involve men in tackling patriarchal attitudes and toxic masculinity. Re bontate ba mona South Africa, are ke re qete ntwena ya ho lwantshana le bomme le banana, a re qete ntweno re phele ka khotso kaofela, ka bana ha o hlokahale hore ha o le monna o emise letsoho la hao against motho wa mofumahadi kapo le ngwanyana. It is us men who need to take steps to stop gender-based violence. And we are now calling on the men of South Africa that yes, we need to have our men's dialogues where we will sit and talk amongst ourselves and try to get to the depth of this story. Hobaneng re tshwara ka tsela empi e kgopo hakana against the women of our country. We must increase the number of sexual offences courts. The court tsena tse sebedisang ka gender-based violence, re batla re di ate. We must ensure all police stations are adequately equipped to deal with gender-based violence. And the women of our country, and indeed we agree, want more harsher sentences to be imposed on those who perpetrate gender-based violence and femicide against the women of our country, and that there must be stricter bail conditions for suspects or no bail at all. That is what the women of our country are saying. We must ensure that government departments spend their budgeted amounts when it comes to the eradication of gender-based violence. We commend the ANC Women's League, the civil society, and social movements who are leading the campaign against gender-based violence. They have raised this matter prominently, and this matter is being addressed as much as we possibly can. The ANC reaffirms its long-standing principle that corruption is the enemy of the people and is committed to taking a tougher stance against corruption. Because, yes, we view corruption as being counter-revolutionary. Any ANC member implicated or involved in corrupt activities will be dealt with and must be dealt with according to the ANC rules and policies, and must also face the full might of the law. There should be no exceptions. To enhance the integrity of the organization, the 55th Conference has reaffirmed the step-aside guidelines and resolved to strengthen the Integrity Commission and the ANC disciplinary structures and processes. So the ANC calls for a speedy implementation of the recommendations of the Zondo Commission of Inquiry on State Capture. Those implicated need to face the full might of the law. And the ANC will implement those recommendations that relate to our organization and those who have also been implicated amongst us. To prevent state capture from ever taking place again, we are determined that there should be more coordination between various law enforcement and anti-corruption institutions. The sixth priority is about building a better Africa and a better world. To enhance South Africa's development and transformation, we will continue to work with our counterparts elsewhere and on the continent by ensuring that the African Union has the necessary capacity to drive unity, development, and peace on our continent, and to drive the growth, diversification, and development of the African economies. We must ensure that the Africa Continental Free Trade Area is effectively implemented. We need to work together with our partners across the continent to realize the opportunities that this treaty has to offer. Our foreign policy stance is informed by the understanding that multilateralism and respect for international law are the key to the global political and economic stability of the world. South Africa continues to advocate for reforms that will ensure that the underrepresentation of our continent in the UN system is properly addressed, and that our continent has a voice at the UN level, and that the global South is strengthened in the multilateral system. We need to support the revitalization of the non-aligned movement. The BRICS group of countries continues to play a critical role in setting global developmental agenda and promoting financial stability to the lives of our people. The restoration of the vibrant organizational life of our branches is an urgent and vital task for our movement. We must build dynamic ANC branches that are actively involved in the life of communities. This includes participation in ward committees, promoting safer communities, and also engaging in law enforcement. To strengthen our branches, we must end gatekeeping. Ntwane ya hore hona le batho ba ema monyakong ba sitisa ba bang hore ba joine ANC. Re batlo re fele. O mon lo mong o na le tokelo ya hore abe setho sa African National Congress. Ho ska ba le batho ba no ba tla reng ha ba tlo joina ANC o joina nna pele. Wena a se wena Jesu Kriste a re tle ho ANC ka wena re tlela ho ANC ka borona re batla hore ntho eno e fele. We will build on progress that we have made on the new membership system, which has improved our ability to restructure our organization. Our third task is to build a new cadre, that those who are members of the ANC must know that they have certain responsibilities. We want them to adhere to the highest standards of organizational discipline and revolutionary morality. Our cadreship must reflect South African society. We must be able to attract progressive people from all classes, from all racial groups, from all faiths and cultures. The fifth task that we have is that we must strengthen the alliance. The 55th conference stressed the strategic and significant role of the alliance and the broad mass democratic movement in terms of the role they have played in our struggle for liberation, and that we all have a role to play to continue to transform South Africa into a national democratic society. The alliance constituted by the ANC, COSATU, and the South African Communist Party must now confront new strategic questions about relevance, renewal, and also, yes, the reconfiguration of the alliance. Now, despite many discussions on the reconfiguration, this matter has not received the adequate attention that we all need to give it. We therefore need to make sure that we give it the adequate attention and ensure that we address this matter to finality. An economic and energy alliance summit should be convened to develop a unified program on the most effective way to use all policy instruments available to drive inclusive growth and transformation. The ANC and the alliance and its alliance partners must act together in a decisive and principled manner to advance to a more inclusive, equitable, and sustainable future for our country. Our sixth task as the ANC is to register large numbers of citizens, especially young people, for the 2024 elections. Now, this is a task that all of us seated here today, members, supporters, and guests and all, we need to make sure that we register as many people as possible for the forthcoming elections. Voter participation has been going down over the years. We now need to upgrade it. And unless we reverse this trend, we will have great difficulty as the African National Congress of ensuring that our majority is retained. Our seventh task is to strengthen governance and advance transformation. To improve governance, the ANC will strengthen its internal mechanisms of monitoring and implementation of policies and ensure accountability work is done in government. Among other things, all public representatives and members of various executives, be it at provincial or national level, will have to report annually against key performance areas. Haiba, obeiwe stulong. And how does this stulong say no? mo o tlameileng gore o sebeletse setšhaba wena o isitse boroko o tla ntshiwa setulong seno re batla batho ba tla sebeletsang setšhaba ANC jwale e tla ba e re sheba kaofela rona ba beilweng ditulong go tloa ho president o ya tlase kwana la o le masepaleng haeba wena o isitse botswa le boroko le hore o etsa dintho tse tswileng ka tseleng o tla ntshiwa setulong ke batla hore ntho eo e hlake hantle mang le mang a utlwise hantle. Conference resolved that, yes, we should deploy people on merit. This is an important process of our renewal program to ensure that we have people who are fit for purpose. In recent years, we have had to deal with the issue of unstable coalitions in local government, where we were combined with other parties to govern largely our municipalities, and we have found that those coalitions are unstable. The ANC and our alliance partners need to develop a more coherent approach to coalitions. This approach must safeguard socio-economic transformation and sustainable development, service delivery, accountability, and active citizen participation. Coalitions must not be about the sharing of spoils and positions. They must be about serving the interests of our people. Our eighth task is to ensure effective communication and social mobilization. The ANC needs to communicate its policies, its achievements, and challenges more effectively and consistently. Every ANC member, leader, and deployee must understand that they are communicators who, through their words and actions, help to shape public perceptions about the movement. Re batla ntwena ya hore o molomong ha bua ka ANC a be a ipuela tsa hae fela tse tswileng tseleng e ka ba ka Twitter e ka ba ka Facebook re batla hore kaofela ha re bua ka ANC re be re bua ka ANC ka molaetsa o le mong laeba re bua ka melomo e fapakaneng ho na le bao ba ratang hore ba pharowe ba ipueletsa bona fela re fumane hore ba ntse ba attack-a ba bang mokgatlong re batla hore ntweno e fele re batla hore ha re bua re bue hantle ka ntho tse ntle tse etswang ke ANC re tla ba re shebile rona kaofela hore re bua jwang na. The ANC must rebuild international solidarity networks. We must also intensify engagement with our former liberation movements in Southern Africa, and we continue to pledge solidarity with the people of Palestine for freedom, independence, justice, and equality. The ANC reiterates the call for the right of self-determination of the people of Western Sahara, and we will continue to strengthen the long and traditional bonds that we as the ANC have. We also support the calls for the lifting of punitive and unfair sanctions against Zimbabwe, against Venezuela, against Cuba, against Iran and Syria, as well as elsewhere in the world. Sanctions that have been imposed unilaterally and unjustifiably. causing immense suffering and hardships to ordinary citizens of those countries. I have often said, for the sanctions that are imposed on Zimbabwe, they are the sanctions that weaken the Zimbabwean economy. And as the Zimbabwean economy has become weaker, it leaves many of our fellow Africans from Zimbabwe with no option but to come over the border to Botswana, to South Africa, to Namibia, because they are being subjected to harsh economic conditions. So we say those sanctions must be lifted, because if they are lifted, the economy of Zimbabwe will once again grow, and many of our fellow African Zimbabweans will see no need to come to other countries. They will stay in their own homes, because people often want to stay in their homes to advance the interests of their families. Our 10th and final task is to modernize the ANC and ensure its financial stability. We recognize that we need to modernize the ANC operations and ensure that the ANC has the necessary resources to undertake its work. Conference recognized the heavy reliance we have on the private sector, but last night was a wonderful moment when we had a gala dinner which was oversubscribed by business people, many of whom don't even do business with government, who just came out in their large numbers to come and support their glorious movement. And I want to thank those who came, supported and led by the Progressive Business Forum. And we call on other businesses, yes, continue supporting this organization so that it can be financially stable. To ensure the sustainability, we want the state to more fully fund the activities of all political parties in proportion to their electoral support. Le re bona re le tjena, asina umona, asina inzondo, sithi yebo uhulumeni makasapote onke ama-political party, ngoba kufanele ukuthi sisupporte idemocracy yethu. This is important for protecting our independence and transparency and accountability. The ANC will implement an organizational redesign process as well. On the occasion of January 8th, we honor the courage and dedication and selfless service of those veterans, stalwarts, and activists who have passed on. In the year, we want to mourn the passing of our Deputy Secretary General, Comrade Jesse Duarte, in July last year. This was a great loss to our movement. For close on to 10 years, Comrade Jesse served the movement as Deputy Secretary General and served the organization for 25 years. As we conclude this important gathering marking the 111th anniversary, we rededicate ourselves to the fundamental transformation of our country and to the renewal of the ANC. In furtherance of these goals, the 55th National Conference declares 2023 as the year of decisive action to advance the people's interests and to renew our movement, the African National Congress. It is fitting, as we sit here under the watchful gaze of our founders, that we honor our veterans who have made lifelong commitment to serving the people of our country with integrity humility, and dedication. And today we have the honor of having Isitwalandwe, Mama Sophie de Brain, amongst us. As Isitwalandwe, Mama Sophie de Brain was one of those brave women who marched on the union buildings to demand that the apartheid regime must not impose past laws against the women of our country. As an ANC member, each one of us has an individual responsibility to those who have walked this path before and for generations that will follow, to emulate our veterans' lifelong service in the people's interest. We draw inspiration, great deal of inspiration from Bertolt Brecht, the German communist playwright's poet, when he said, some people will wage a struggle for a day, and that is good. Some people will wage a struggle for a year, and that is better. Some people will wage a struggle for many years, and that is even better. But there are those who will wage the struggle for their entire lives. They are the ones we cannot do without. And Comrade Sophie de Brain is one of those. The struggle must continue. We must continue to renew the African National Congress. It is only when we renew the ANC and unite it that we will be able to transform our country. We will be able to build a strong economy that will create jobs. It is only when the ANC is renewed that we will be able, yes, to create jobs for the young people of our country, that we will be able to fight gender-based violence, that we will be able to deal with the criminals in our country, that we will be able to have local government that will serve the interests of our people. So, comrades, let us go on and renew the African National Congress, knowing that this job is irreversible. Ke terena a e khutlele morao e tswella pele fela ha o sa tšhetše e tla o thula terena ena ha o sa tšhetšele ka thoko kapa wa ikalama ka nnete e tla o thula ntho e betere ke gore o palame terene ena re tsamaye mmogo to renew the African National Congress and to unite it. Amandla.
Well, guys, that is the President of the Republic of South Africa and the current President of the ANC, President Cyril Ramaphosa, giving his speech. I did not want to interrupt because I wanted you guys to get to listen what message he have. Then after that, we'll sit like this so that we can get to discuss and try to give our analytics on each part, each point that he had spoken about. But before we get to start, guys, there is one thing I don't know if you also get to notice in this video, that there were some high-profile ANC members, which we are all familiar with. We did not see their faces. They were not present in this 111 birthday of the ANC. Could be that also a proof of what we saying to you, that there is a serious problem in the ANC? Could this also a way of giving people the right when they say that the ANC is divided? Morally, the ANC is divided. Physically, they pretend to be together. They pretend to be united. Because on a day, on an important day such as this one, it is when we get to see each and every member of the ANC to be there. And unfortunately, when you get to watch this video from the beginning until the end, not by any chance we get to see some faces. Like Jacob Zuma, we did not see him. Thabo Mbeki, we did not see him. Khaima Mothandle, we did not see him. Nkosazana Zuma, we did not see her. There are so many. And among of these people that we did not see, among them, we get to see some of the people who've been having a cold war against the group of President Cyril Ramaphosa. That is the first things I want us to discuss in this video. The first point, it is that some of the high profile, as we all know in the ANC, they are not there. Okay, some of you will come and tell me that no, the ANC, they were having the finish up of the 55th conference, which they had postponed it last year on the 5th of January. And they were all asked that some of the people, high profile, they should be in the Free State. And the rest of members, they can attend in their provinces. Now, if we get to look here, some of the high profile, they're not there. For what reason? Even if some of this high profile, they were not there from the moment when the ANC, they were attending the National 55th Congress. But they might say that, okay, these people, they were in the province because they were busy attending or arranging for the delegates to come and attend this Congress. Okay, fine. What about Duma? We saw him. He was in Free State today. He's also one of the high profile. So, which means Duma had to place himself, to move from where he was at KwaZulu-Natal and go all the way to Free State. That is the spirit of a person who don't have anything or any conflict with his leadership. What about the rest? What will be their excuse that they'll have to come and put forward? That is something that we notice from our side, and we have to give our point of view on that, because this is a very important day for every ANC member. You celebrating 11 years. I don't think we have any political party in South Africa who have reached that number. So this is a very big achievement. Unfortunately, it looks like some have to celebrate and other people don't have to celebrate. For what reason? And yet, as we get to listen, in the speech of Mr. President, he spoke about the new renewal of the ANC. Last time I made a video, because these things of renewing the ANC, doing this and that, okay, is a good idea. But I made a video asking you guys a question for those who always watch me. I ask you guys a question to know. When they're saying that they want to renew the ANC, how are you going to renew the ANC when you have placed an instruction, I mean to say, saying that now we have a policy of a step aside? Last time I also tried to explain you what is this thing of step aside mean. Step aside is simply mean to say that we don't need you anymore. So there's no need for you to waste your time sitting somewhere hoping that we're gonna call you back to come and work with us. We don't want you to be one of us. You are free to go. You can go to EFF, DA, BOSA, any political party you feel like going. You can go. That is the true meaning of the step-aside policy. A step-aside policy, I even go for to tell you that it is another way of people trying to eliminate each other, because when you get to look, the instructions, the reasons, the main reasons why they have to ask other ANC members to step aside, it does not really make sense, because this point that they're trying to raise are the same point that we still keep seeing it in the ANC, and yet no one have to ask another person to step aside. So it is kind of like a within family conflict, which politicians are trying to show each other what they are capable of. And I keep on saying to you guys, there is no way that you'll get to renew the ANC, yet you're still having those kind of problem pending within the ANC. Proof to that today. People who are supposed to be there, they are not there. Not everyone who were there. We're talking about high profile. We're not talking about simple members of the ANC. Simple members are just like me and you. I can attend this day through the TV or through the social media. But physically, you as a high profile, the only reason can make you not to participate or to be there, it is only if you are sick or maybe you are outside of the country. Not when you are well, in good health, and we see you talking on social media and the next things, in a big day like this, you are not there. That is a sign of showing that there is a serious problem in the ANC. There is a serious battle in the ANC. And as long as they have not fixed this, guys, trust me, I don't know what will become the future of the ANC tomorrow. Because this conflict will grow and go even in the new generation. So is that what people of South Africa want? I don't think so. So I believe this is the right time for them to do what is good. Well, guys, the president got to speak about the life of people of South Africa. The president speak about the 350, how it is a small money, but the number it is getting increased each and every time. People are coming up, new people are giving birth. Okay, fine. But come to think of it, I don't know if it is about me alone, or you have also noticed on your side. Why is it that every time when it comes to talk about the grant funds and everything, the ANC government always complain. They always complain, and it is if like there is no money. We bought this story of saying that there is no enough money, isn't it? What happened in the time of COVID-19? We were all surprised, guys, to see trillions of money being spent for COVID grant. Myself, I was so surprised. I even asked myself a question to know, where was this money coming from if we were all told that there is no money? But as a person who gives analytics, I have to dig even more and try to look on what the ANC government had promised so far, especially after the time of former President Jacob Zuma. I get to look on what they have been said. I remember President Ramaphosa promising to build a new town, a new city, somewhere in Gauteng. A town where they'll start from zero. Then I'm like, okay, if the president says so, he never tell us that he's going to go to IMF to go and borrow money there. He never tell us that he's going to go to any big organization in the world that they'll loan South Africa money. So which means when the president was saying or promising these promises before the COVID-19, he knew that there were money already. He knew that there were this specific amount of money which was sitting somewhere. And unfortunately, since God has his plans, COVID-19 came. And we get to see now how this money have started being spent, which unfortunately people of South Africa did not even benefit from it. Yes, we saw the numbers being mentioned on the TV. This amount of billions is going to go to this department. This amount of money is going to do this and that. But in action, nothing. So every time talking about how the ANC have done 1, 2, 3, 4, but we don't have money, we don't have that. I mean, why can't you just go put up a fixed amount and raise up the fund and pay people of South Africa and keep that amount even for 5 to 10 years before you get to change whether you're gonna increase even more, instead of today you add 20 rand, tomorrow you add 50 rand, and at the end of the day you've forgotten that life expense keep on changing. Yesterday we had a petrol which was costing 9 rand a liter of petrol, 9 rand. What about today? So if life can change, why not also people who work for the government? Lifestyle of people of South Africa should also change. You see where the problem comes. So when every time the ANC government have to come and say that no, we managed to do 1, 2, 3, but we still have a lot to do, we still have that to do, fine. At the end of the day, are you sure? Are you too sure that you're doing things in the way that you should have done it? The president also spoke about the corruption. That's the part where I found very, very, very interesting on my site, because you get to listen to the president talking about corruption. Guys, I mean, you know, there's this saying in the Bible that before you remove a dust in the eye of your fellow friend, make sure that you remove yours first. Because sometimes I get bored and annoyed when I get to see the ANC government talking about corruption in this country. Because if we're talking about the really true corruptors, it comes from the ANC. Who will not know it? Who will disagree with me? We all know that the ANC, they are the one who have opened that big door. And there is this saying in the ANC that let me also do it. If the one was my precedent have done it, what about me? Guys, please, if you are joining us, make sure that you hit that like button for me. Give me your thumbs up. I really do appreciate. Comment down below. This is a debate. We're talking, we're analyzing also at the same time. So feel free to drop the comment down below. Tell us also what you think about what we're discussing. Okay? So corruption is not something that you will come and try to fool people of South Africa, because it's not gonna work. We all know if we get to this point, it's because you've been there. And I'm sorry here, I have to assume that it's the ANC, because they are the one who've been leading this country. It's just like a parent who's running away from assuming their mistake or their responsibility, and yet they are coming trying to teach you a lesson. For me, it does not make sense. So Mr. President, when he's talking about corruption, okay, fine. But this problem of corruption did not start today. This problem of corruption started even before President Ramaphosa came in power. Now the question is, what have you done, Mr. President? You with your cabinet, you with your ministers, you with your ANC members. What have you guys done so far whereby you get to send a strong message to every corrupt officer, to every corrupt councillor, mayor out there, that look, if we catch you, this is what's going to be for you? What have you done? What message have you sent? Because we are tired, guys, to listen the same story over and over. When it is the Minister of Justice, they'll come here. Oh, we're going to stand against this. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. What is the Minister of Police? Yes, we can't even talk. Too much speech in the mouth. In the action, it is something else. Total something else. It does not even match at all. That is the problem. That is the problem, guys. So sometimes it's better when we talk and we act at the same time. When we do so, it will bring that guarantee in the people of South Africa to be able to believe that, yes, we have a government which promise and fulfill. But when we keep on talking something which we've been talking, repeating the same story over and over, yet in the field, there is nothing good, there is nothing positive. We can stack your words and compare to what you have said last time. Look at where we are at the moment and get to conclude saying that, yes, there is some effort which has been made so far in this part of the department. So, for me, I mean, talking about corruption, as long as I have not seen anything good. Corruption today, guys, nowadays, it has even reached to the point of you have to corrupt somebody in order for you to pass interview. Not to get a job. Because before it used to be like, you pass an interview, which means your job is guaranteed, your job is safe. But in nowadays, you have first to pass the interview, wait for the next step, whether they will call you or not. Because though you have passed the interview, you still have to compete with cousins, with their side chicks, with the side niggers, with the nephew, nieces, who they did not even pass the interview. They did not even do the interview, but they had promised them to give them the job. Now you come with your knowledge, with your graduations, with everything, your certificate. You make your best. You give it your best. You try to pass that interview. Yet somebody have to come and block you because before they talk to you back home, they had promised someone the job. That is how corruption have taken place or dominating the system of this country. And nothing have been done so far. So, before we get to promise much, before we get to talk much, especially about things like this, we need to open our eyes, look back of what we have said before and what effort we have made so far and what did work and what did not work, so that we can be able to have that courage to speak about such things. Mr. President also says that anyone in the ANC who will be accused of corruption, they'll find the true justice in their system. That sounds very tempting. But how many people in the ANC so far, their names have been mentioned? Their names are being linked to corruption. How many of them they've been disciplined? How many of them they have faced the ANC disciplinary committee? Or is it going to start today after this 111 years of birthday? Perhaps if that is the case, let it be. We are happy, isn't it? But if that is not the case, then I'm afraid to say that there's nothing good from it. Moving forward, Mr. President spoke about the potholes in our roads all over the country. Excuse me, guys. My throat is getting very dry each and every time I speak for a while. But I'm surprised to see that Mr. President is having this kind of a speech or this kind of conversation with the ANC people after all these years. After all these years, we're talking about 30 years ago that ANC they've been leading the country. And yet, they have to come back and talk about how the country is getting potholes. No, actually, that is not a speech to speak and feeling proud about yourself. That actually shows on how much you have failed already, especially in that department. Because in other countries such as Dubai, or Qatar. You guys saw in 2023 World Cup how they managed to organize one of the best World Cup in the world. Though they were criticized by different people that they have failed. But at the end of the day, apparently they were busy cooking it. They want to make sure that the food is ready so that everyone can eat and feel proper. Back to what I was saying. These countries, take them 10 years ago, 20 years ago, even 30 years ago, as the ANC in the power. You get to see that they were nothing good about these countries. Instead, they were busy improving, they were busy working each and every time. Regardless of how many leadership have to change at the head of the office, each and every president or minister who come in the office, they have to do their part. They have to leave their stamp. That is how you get to see those countries become the best country. When you are in the airport, you get to see the beauty of the country in the airline. I mean, in the aeroplane. Now, instead of the ANC telling us that, no, guys, we have managed to do this. Look, when we first take power in this country, we used to have potholes all over the country. Then we managed to fix these potholes all over. That is the reason why today you guys, you can drive very peaceful, no surprise, no potholes, nothing. Because we managed to build the new roads, because we managed to renovate some roads which were not in good condition, because we managed to do 1, 2, 3, 4. Unfortunately, that is not the speech. Instead, the president is telling people of South Africa on how we are having potholes everywhere. That's the president telling people of South Africa. We are having potholes everywhere. Since we are having potholes everywhere, then it is a problem. Because we have now to work on this to make sure that we finish all these potholes. Well, guys, you know, it is very pity. Because what we get to see on the road and the kind of work, the service which we're receiving from the municipality, which is being dominated by the ANC, it is also something else. The president himself acknowledged to say that there is a poor service delivery. And that is one thing I like about our president, guys. President Ramaphosa, I like something about him is that the fact that he likes to acknowledge the wrongdoing, except the Pala matter. That is the only thing so far. I have not seen him coming clean with his hand, because he ran away. No matter how many times they call him in the parliament, no matter how many questions he received from the journalists, and no matter how many letters he received from different political parties, he ran away. He did not want to comment about it. That is it. But for the rest, when it comes to the leadership, when it comes to the life of South African people, when it comes to the failure of 1, 2, 3 things, at least the poor man, he have acknowledged and accept, and he believed that the ANC government needs to do more. That is something good. We should also appreciate him for that, because some other president, they don't do so. Some other president, they don't do so. Even if you caught them right there, they will just ignore and deny everything. They will not even gonna entertain you. They will not even gonna say anything like that. But him, at least, we have to acknowledge him for that, because he put some effort through it, and we get to see that, you know, that's a good sign that you're not just gonna get it from any other president out there. So, guys, what do you take now from all this speech of the president that we just finished doing our analytics? Well, the president have come to repeat the same promises he have made before, the president have come to tell people nothing new but things that he have spoken already about, and things that the ANC, they have failed to fulfill in majority. Yes, they have failed. But since this is the same language we get to listen from other political parties, especially in the opposition political parties, the president, they have to hold the same. Because, for example, when the president speak about the electricity crisis, you get to see that this has now become a serious problem for them, and they are afraid to see that this one, it might end up turning to be their nightmare in 2024, because we are only 1 year ahead of the general election in this country. So you guys even get to see to listen to the deputy president Paul Mashatile saying that we need to solve this problem of the electricity, this problem of ESCOM. We need to solve it right now, otherwise we'll fail to answer to the question of South Africans when it comes in 2024. And even go further to say that we'll hide our face in 2024 if we don't solve it right now. But you guys get to see some of the analysis where they get to say that the problem of load shedding is even getting more worse this year. Last year, apparently, it was even better. So this year, things are going to get even more ugly. Let's wait and see. Perhaps they'll do much better about it. Perhaps not. We shall see at the end of the day. But all this speech that Mr. President gave, I did not see anything new. These are the same speech that even his predecessors, they had spoken about before him coming in power. And today still repeating, you know. And what surprised me the most is to see for that there are some of the promises or things that the ANC, they are planning to do, which they have spoken about it 20, 25 years ago. Yet those promises, they never been fulfilled. So let's wait and see if there is anything good that will happen. We'll be here to come back to you to tell you again about what they'll fulfilled and what they're not gonna do. But for now, that is it for today. We really thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video until now. For those who have just joined us, my name is Dopsi Nyembe, and I'm here to give you my analytics about different topics that we get to discuss in our channel time to time. And thank you so much for being there. Before you get to leave, do me a favor, like this video, click that thumb up, and comment down below. Tell us also what you think about this video. Happy New Year to all of you. For now, continue to be yourself, be good, be kind, have respect for everyone in order for you to be respected. May God bless you all. I'll see you again in our next video. Ciao, ciao.